You know what time it is. Yes, you do. It's Renovation Nation time. That's right. That's right. We're back. We're live. We're here. Yes, we are. It's been a couple weeks. Been a couple weeks since I've been back. But you are listening to Renovation Nation, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I am Chad Rowland, host of this crazy show. Using a little different mic today. Going to try this out. It was getting airy in this room last time I did the show with Mr. Mims Mobley and Mr. Jack Alvarez of Velux Skylights. There's been a lot of those videos put up over the last couple of weeks on YouTube. But it is a Saturday. It is a Saturday, and we are back. I don't know what all you've been listening to the last couple of weeks. It's been a little bit nuts, and I was unable to do them, so we just, I don't know, you might have heard a lot about Velux Skylights. And speaking of which, if it is time for a skylight, or if you've thought about a skylight especially after listening to that show and hearing all the amazing things that Velux has in their arsenal now, is pretty neat. But if it is that time, give RTM Roofing a call at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, which a lot of you have been doing, and hit the contact card. You ain't got to click a button. You just immediately, as soon as you go to rtmroofing.com, you scroll all the way to the bottom, fill it out. It pops right in our system. You've got a date. You will have a date in a reasonable amount of time, pretty daggum quick when it comes in that way. For all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and now home attic insulation needs. Blown-in attic insulation, and also the batten. But I don't know. It's been some crazy stuff. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but none of it's too interesting to go over. But we've had a lot of, we had the drought. Or I say the drought, it was real dry in March and April and then into May a little bit. But till end of May and, boy, this past week, we got some rain in the past few weeks, too. It's been raining and the wind blowing. Haven't seen much hail, but definitely a lot of wind coming in with a lot of water. And so it's torrential downpours. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was mentioning, I was like, I don't mean to scare people or nothing, but it's like everybody, 98% of homes out there has got a small leak somewhere. 95%. I'll drop it a little bit. But I'm saying, but your home is meant to take in water if it's built correctly and shed it out, unless it goes into the wrong spot. But overall, there's always possibly a little water getting somewhere it's not supposed to be. Now, is it going to be the end of the world? No, because you won't know about it for a long time. But on your roof, it's a small nail pop. Nail's backed out a little bit. Not all the way, just enough to let a little bit of water in each rain. And then when you get these, what I call frog-killing rains, all of a sudden, you've got a leak. You're like, whoa, where'd this come from? Well, it'd been doing it for a long time, most of it, unless stuff blew off your roof. There's some caveats there, but what I'm getting at is water entry doesn't mean it's showing up on your ceiling or dripping onto your floor. What it means is water's going somewhere it shouldn't. Now, it may not go far. It may only go a quarter inch into that wood deck. But over time, it'll start to, rotten it. And then by the time it gets all the way through it and dripping all the way in on your insulation and then on your sheetrock, then eventually you see the brown spot. And that's where, unless it was something that literally the storm blew in and just knocked your shingles off today and water was going in that way, the other's been happening for a while. You just didn't know it. And the reason you didn't know it is the reason a lot of people don't know it. It's because they haven't had their roof inspected or their home inspected for that matter, and since they bought it. And that could be a year, that could be 50 years. Well, 50 years with a certain roof. Otherwise, you'd already had a roof. But the point being, I'm getting at is that, you never know what you don't know. And now that it's vacation season and you're spending a lot of time outside and away and all that, and some of these frog killing rains come in, you come back home and then there's a spot on your ceiling. It's not a good thing. It's not a terrible thing, but it's not a good thing because it's going to cost you money one way or the other, whether it's the roof or not. And we've had a lot of calls here. I say a lot. I always say a lot. We've had calls here over the last multiple weeks of gutters backflowing, going into the soffit, and then rolling down on the inside of a wall. Drip edge not doing what it's supposed to be doing, or not even on your roof, and rolling back under the shingle, which is right near where your gutter's at. The drip edge should roll over into your gutter, holds it there, and then allows the water, it lips from a shingle. It's called lipping. I call it lipping. It's from that slow rain, and if you're watching it, it goes over that shingle, and then it just lips back under before it drops. Well, drip edge is meant to take that lip, a little drip of a lip of the water, and put it on into your gutter and not let it go and hit the face of your decking or roll back farther and actually start dripping in on your fascia, behind your fascia, into your soffit, rolling over into your attic, or just straight down in the wall. It may vary. But there's all kinds of possibilities where water goes at that point. But the point is, it's not going where it's supposed to, which is into the gutter and then on out and to the watershed, wherever it may lead from your home. That's been a lot of stuff we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of repairs this year, which is a good thing. We've saved people thousands, tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars already this year because they didn't need a roof. If they needed a roof, we would tell you. And if you're not ready for it, we help you budget for it. At least get you a number in today's dollars, and that's something else. If you've noticed the market today, it's not as cheap as it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a week ago. Heck, yesterday or last hour. But everything seems to be continuing to do whatever it is they're wanting it to do and go up. That when I say we budget you, I say, hey, okay, your roof's going to be $16,000, $16,280.28. We like breaking it down to the penny. That's today. We've already had one price increase this year, and I'm waiting on this month's because I heard another one was coming this month. So if I told you your roof was $16,823.18 today, well, by next week, most likely it's going to be $17,280.20. It might not go up 1,000, but it's not going to go up 10. I can tell you that. But what I'm telling you is if you are ready or require a roof replacement, do it now. Save money. Yeah, you're going to spend money, but not as much as you are here soon. And if the little birdies are right, and they usually are, the word down the pipeline is there's some more increases coming before the end of the year too. Even after this next one, that's normally we get one a year, maybe two at times, but this will be the second this year coming up. It hasn't hit yet, but the word's been told to me, and I tend to believe what they tell me because they were right on the last one and the one before that and before that. So yes, if you don't need a roof today and your roof is good, meaning it's a car with 100,000 miles on it, you've changed the oil, rotated the tires, brand new tires, new oil change, new everything that you needed because it's got 100,000 miles on it, and you're going to make it, then you still need to know you're running out of miles and what's the cost of your roof today, because I promise you in 5 years it's not going to be the same. In 10 years, it's definitely not going to be the same. I mean, my roof went up exponentially since when I put it on in February 2020. I was crunching my own numbers the other day, just curious. I mean, my roof's fine. It's 6 years old and functioning just like it should, or as the manufacturer specifications state, as I say. Saying that, it went up, 5 digits worth, and it was crazy. It's crazy because it's the same product. That's what I tell people too. Some people get mad at me, maybe the vendors, I don't know. But I'm like, it's more expensive, but nothing's changed with it except the price. So that's why I always try to get across here. It's like, listen, I understand your money's valuable. My money's valuable. I try to keep every penny I've got. And I work hard to get every penny I've got. So if I'm going to spend it, I want to spend as little of it as I can for the most I can. And that's where coming in and finding out what's the value of your roof so you can start saving today in case you don't get a storm. It just wears out naturally like most do, and the insurance doesn't buy your roof. Then you know that $16,280.28 today in about 5 years is probably going to be $25,000. It's not going to be 16. And if it was 16,280, it's probably not going to be in the 16s by the end of the month. So that's the thing I like to try to, I guess, educate, or just if you didn't know, think about it. Another way to think about it. And because, like I said, I just get something here recently for a piece of equipment, and that hurt. That hurt. Even though I got a good deal, it hurt. It really hurt. And but I can do something with it, right? I can ride it around. I can chop things down with it. I can do all kinds of things with it. With a roof, you just got to go in and sit down and be comfortable that everything you own is protected. It's a different kind of feeling. It's not the one I usually like, but you got to respect it. Well, you're listening to Renovation Nation, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're back today. We're back. Not going anywhere. Gonna be back. As the man said, see you in about 3.
Hey, this is Chad with RTM Roofing and host of Renovation Nation. RTM Roofing's commercial division is looking for you. Are you a property manager? Do you own the building? Are you the business owner? You tired of leaks? You tired of chasing leaks? Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751 or go to rtmroofing.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, fill out the contact card, and let us help you out.
And you know what time it is. Yes, you do. You know what it is. It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Another Saturday. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rain, sun, hot. Although, it's been a little cool lately. I watch my direct weather guy on YouTube, and he's pretty spot on. I call him a kid. He's probably in his late 20s, early 30s, but he's pretty dadgum spot on. But what's spot on right now is you're listening to Renovation Nation, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chad Rowland, host of this crazy show, trying to figure out more what I'm talking about today. We was going over, inflation is basically what we was talking about last segment. Yeah, inflation. And inflation is, I heard the number, was it today or yesterday, that the real inflation number on the average is about, they'll say 3 and 5 and 7% and all this stuff. It's like 24%, and that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Go to the grocery store, spend $100 in your hand basket. In your hand basket. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Fires me up, but it's not my show. But roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and home attic insulation, that's my world, at least presently. Not that I'm planning on going anywhere, but yeah, that's the world I live in, and all those products have went up or more expensive than they were a year ago, and a year before that, and a year before that, and probably here soon again, everything's going to go up again. So I was babbling a little bit about that, about, if you've got to do something, now's the time to do it, because it's not going to get any cheaper. If anything, it's going to get more expensive. But I wanted to go into a little bit today, talk a little bit to property managers, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for property managers, whether you manage residential homes or apartment complexes, duplexes, or just big commercial buildings. All the above. Talking to you. How can we get 10 years more out of your roof? Well, the first answer would be start 10 years ago. But seriously, you got to start somewhere. And how can you extend a life on a roof? Well, there's multiple types of roofs. There's flat roofs, there's sloped roofs, there's shingles, there's metal, that's not synthetics, but EPDM, TPO, I know that's just acronyms to people, but the flat roof membranes, granulated membranes, all kind of, stuff with rock stone on top of it called ballast. There's a lot of different things that can be a roof, but how do you extend all of them together? Well, the first rule of thumb is maintenance and inspections. And that starts by calling RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, fill out the contact card for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and home attic insulation needs. And a lot of you have really been going to the website. Excuse me. But a lot of you have really been going to the website and filling out the contact card. That's amazing. I didn't know how well it was really going to work, meaning overall how people would accept it. But a lot of people like it. Now, some people still want to call and talk, and I will talk. If I pick up the phone, we're going to be on for a minute. It's a little more efficient to do it the other way, and it gets all the information that I'm going to ask you anyhow. And then that way, then you receive a text and an email immediately as soon as we assign it and put a date and time on it. And it'll give you the person's coming out name, number, and email. And that way you can commute. You don't have to call the office now to get back to who's coming to see you. You can call the office if you need to, of course, but go to the source that you're dealing with. And that way it's a quick A to jump to C, but go to B to the website and fill out that contact card. And also, if you missed any of while you're at the website, you'll see our videos. And at least some videos. I got to change some up now, but it'll lead you to our YouTube site, which while we're doing the show today, we're filming. And we're actually recording, but yeah, because there's no film in the camera anymore. But nevertheless, we're putting it down on hard copy and then putting the shows out. And we got a bunch of the reels is what we put a lot out from the shows. And you can watch the whole show. The show's really about 45 minutes long in actuality. Yeah, you're here an hour, but there's breaks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's about a 45-minute podcast, I call it, even though it's a radio cast right now. But you can go back and re-listen if you missed something, or catch old shows just if you missed it, or want to go back and re-listen again. And I usually get them up tomorrow or Monday at the latest. But if I can, I try to get them up, or maybe even later today. It just varies. It varies. Depends on how long it takes me to edit it. Because that I can't edit. This is no editing. We're here and we're live. But yeah, so you can go to YouTube, search A Standard Conversation, or go to our website, rtmroofing.com, and you'll see the videos there, and go to YouTube and we'll watch some there and scroll on over. Yeah, for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutter, and chimney cap, and home insulation, skylight needs. What else have I got? I actually got a piece of paper here today. But yeah, I was getting back to how do you extend a roof life? There's multiple ways to extend a roof life. Now, it's about like an engine. If it's thrown a rod or the crankshaft's broke or a piston's twisted, busted, a rod, whatever it may be, seized up, you're going to need a new engine. But how do you keep an engine running that's got some miles on it? The same way you do a roof. You maintenance it. You change the oil. What's that? That's on a roof. That's changing your caulking or touching up your caulking. Your caulk is like your oil in your car. Your oil is going to last 3 to 5 to 7 to 10,000 miles, depending on the oil you're using and the vehicle you got and the conditions it's going in. Well, the caulking on your roof, 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years, you're going to touch that caulking up sometime during that period. And the only way you can know how am I going to get you there in 10 years? Well, don't let it go 10 years before you get it inspected to look at the oil, i.e. caulking. If you've got penetrations on your roof, which almost every roof does, very few roofs don't. There are some. I always got to caveat stuff. I don't know why. But there are some that don't have any penetrations. That's awesome. Less penetrations you got on the roof, less chances of leaks, unless something blows off. But if you've got pipe boots, gas stacks, all of that, or pipes coming up out of your roof, they have to have a different material put on them that breaks down quicker than the shingle. Thanks to expansion, contraction, and the big ball of fire in the sky. And the 4 seasons we get here as well in Middle Tennessee. You change those. That's like in those pipe boots and flashings around stuff that's coming up out of your roof. That's like changing the tires on your car, especially the pipe boots, the big white pipes that come up out of your house that from the P-traps, vent the methane gases from your septic or your plumbing systems. They're literally like the tires on your car. Your average tire, you're going to get 50 to 100,000 miles out of most tires. Some may get more, some may get a little less. I've had some Pirellis before, and nothing against Pirelli. They were really good. They were really soft. They were quiet when I was going sideways, but they left marks, and they left earlier than a harder tire, if you will. Well, your pipe boots, your neoprene flashings that are neoprene, they're going to last about 5 to 10 years. They say 10 years is what the quote unquote life expectancy is. Now, they can go a little longer, and I've seen them cut shorter. Why? I don't know. There's always good runs, and there's always flaws, and that's just conditions, the way you drove your car. The tires are gone, and it needs an oil change. And that would be the seasons around here and the conditions at your house. You're covered in trees, you're this, you're that. If you're covered in trees and shade all the time, well, that does a little something to your roof, but it doesn't do as much to your boot because the sun's not eating it up. And if you don't have any trees around your house, well, chances are, if you've not had your roof looked at in 10 years, I'll just about bet you, I would, if this was a betting state, I don't know if it is or not, I don't gamble anymore. I'd bet you $1 a donut that it's already deteriorating. May not be letting water in, but I bet it's already cracking around that collar. Just about guarantee it, except for 1 out of 100. Yeah, that's fun news, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good day today. It's a good day. When you come back, I'll go into a little more lighter news. You're listening to Renovation Nation live on Super Talk 99.7. See you in 3.
Hey, this is Chad Rowland with RTM Roofing. Are you the type of person that takes pride in your home? Let RTM Roofing help with the exterior, with your roof, with your siding, with your soffit, fascia, your gutters, your chimney caps. Home insulation now too. Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751 or go to rtmroofing.com, scroll to the bottom and fill out the contact card. Let RTM Roofing help you get ready for summer.
And you know what time it is. Justin Sheffield knows what time it is in St. Charles, Missouri. It's Renovation Nation time. That's what time it is. What's up, JS? How you doing there? Right there. Right there. We had a teacher in college. Made him in college, the second round. Yeah, I went twice. 14-year break between the two. But when I went back, being the older guy, we had a Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson taught a soils class. Learned a lot from Mr. Anderson. Dr. Anderson, actually. Learned a lot from him, but he would always say right there afterwards. And me and Justin, that's our little inside joke. We're always right there. Well, you're right here, and that's at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listening to Renovation Nation. I'm Chad Rowland, host of this crazy show. Talking inflation, talking cars, talking roofs, talking to property managers on how do we get you 5 to 10 more years or more life out of your roof. If it can get more life. That's the caveat. And a lot can. Again, I stated earlier, we're doing a lot of repairs right now. And I think that's twofold. Getting back on the inflation side. It is about money. It is about money. And I've been around long enough to know I had a lot more money 6 years ago than I do today because things were a lot less expensive. And I was able to say I'm not making much more money than I was then. It's depleting faster because the stuff's going up. And yeah, I've got theories on that too, but I digress. It's not my show. I'd like to do a show one time about that. I got a few things to say, but not today. So back to property managers. How do we, number one, save you money and extend the product that's actually allowing you to make money? If you didn't have a roof, you couldn't have equipment under there making stuff to sell. If you didn't have a roof, you wouldn't have a couch, a TV, and all that sitting in your living room. So it wouldn't be a living room. It'd be an empty building. It wouldn't be called a building. It'd be called 4 walls and a foundation without a roof. Yeah. All right, let me get on a lighter note, because I don't want to go negative. I feel negative a little bit on that because it fires me up, because it's like me and my wife always talk about when we get on subjects of stuff, and it always ends up, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm not going to say there's nothing you can't do about it, but I will say there's really not much you can do about it except be knowledgeable of what's going on. Because it's all about knowledge. Knowledge is your friend, if it's factual. And that's the thing nowadays, what's real and what isn't when you're online looking around. However, the things that are factual that you do know as truth, that a lot of people don't at times, gives you an advantage. You at least know that, hey, I heard there's a road to the right somewhere down there that they've got alligators on them. Yeah, well, if we're walking in the middle of the night and I see a forking road to the right, I'm going left. Might not be the right road, but at least I had some knowledge of something. Well, that goes to your roof and your building and your home and all of that good stuff. You don't know what you don't know. And it really, excuse me, my nose is itching. Am I making money? Somebody calling? No, I'm just kidding. That, my nose is itching though. Now I'm going to squirrel with a nose itch. How do you extend the life of your roof? Commercially and residentially. Well, first, it's an inspection by calling RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and home attic insulation needs, blown in and batten, but we don't do foam. That's not our wheelhouse. It's like residential roofing versus commercial roofing. It's two different beasts. It's completely two different. The only word that rhymes is roof. That's it. So, but let's say you got a new roof. Newer roof. Why is it leaking? Okay, that's a good thing, right? Is it still under warranty, not under warranty? That's sometimes subject. Labor warranty, manufacturer's warranty. But just because you got a leak doesn't mean it's a manufacturer's warranty issue, and doesn't always mean it's a labor warranty issue either, because it's not always your roof that will sometimes leak. The thing I've discovered over the X number of odd years, I think it's even years though, that might be odd, that I've been on this side of the business, meaning not actually installing it and doing things like that, but more in the sales position, that I've discovered that 100% of roofs not inspected will leak. Just like 100% of putts in golf that don't make it to the hole will never go in. I don't know why I just brought that up. I just thought it was pretty funny. But having said that, you first have to start with an inspection. That's how you extend your life to start with of the roof. And what does that inspection entail? Well, overall, it's the same thing for a commercial business or a residential home. But we look for different culprits and a flat roof system does things differently than a shingle system. You usually don't have nails backing out in a flat roof system. You can in certain areas, but not in the main system itself usually. They're screws. Or they're fully adhered, which means glued down, which is a great system. Actually, the fully adhered system is the best system. We actually like mechanically fastening the insulation and fully adhering the membrane. That seems to be a really good Well, to me, it is one of the better methods that's out there. Another thing to extending the life of your roof while you're getting inspection, what we're looking at penetrations, we're looking at AC curves, we're looking at the membrane itself. If it's the black roof, which is EPDM, it's a big black, I'll call it a rubber membrane. But go look up the acronym. I can never remember them. EPDM. It's like a tire. It's black. It's a rubbery material, like a tire. The sun's been beating on it. You know how you can pretty much tell the age of an EPDM roof. You get up there and just put your fingers on it. If you pull them back up and it looks like you just gave fingerprints because all your tips are black, that's carbon coming off. It's breaking down. Now, are you going to get it on you a little bit? Yeah. Not in the beginning, you won't. Usually doesn't leave marks when it's new. But it gets the times where you can just barely touch it. And that means it's getting older and brittle. And just like this week, I was up in Madison on top of a big flat roof. And we've done repairs on it half a dozen times over the last couple years. You know, it's a pretty good size roof, so things are moving, shaking, giving. But this time, out of nowhere, it just pulled completely away from the coping or the drip edge, the edge of it, and say that for people out there. I mean, like for 15 feet, 20 feet, just pulled away, and then tore about 8 foot back right in the middle. There's a 5 foot line like someone took a razor blade up there and just say, I'm gonna right here, and just sliced it out of nowhere. I knew a roof shouldn't do that. And they're also requested now a full roof replacement estimate, because I was like, now this is the 7th time and this is the worst thing. I don't know why, maybe not 7, it's like the 4th or 5th time. Maybe we've been there in 2-3 years. And I'm like, it's now just doing stuff randomly that are getting costly, and it's not going to stop. And the roof's got a lot of age on it anyhow. I know the age of it. It's run its course pretty good. Technically, it still should have, some years left on it. But it's getting to where the ROI is not going to be good for it. And what do I mean by that? If you start putting so much money in something and it keeps failing, it's like putting a $5,000 transmission in a $1,500 car. You're not going to get that transmission life out of that car. Rarely. Again, I'm going to caveat everything. Rarely. Yes, I know there's people out there. I got one 300. Fair enough. But for every one that did, there's 5,000 that didn't. And same in roofing, that, there's ways to extend the life of your roof. And it goes back to inspections. Get it inspected yearly, annually. Be a perennial. It come back every year, automatically. Set that up. We'll set that up for you. We'll show you what it's going to cost to replace this roof. It doesn't need replaced right now, but it's coming in X years. Be ready. So that way it doesn't hurt. Because we know the hurt. $16,280.20. Yeah, that hurts. And that's today. Next week it's probably going to be $17,050.29. That hurts too. But it doesn't hurt when you add up the value of what's underneath it. And that's the more important part, that I call it adulting, not being an adulterer, adulting, being an adult, appreciating the fact that everything above your head is solid, that protects everything under your butt. That was a new way of saying it. But true. All your possessions are protected by mainly one thing. They're protected by a few things. But the biggest one's the roof. That's it. And it's an expensive one. Your house is a $750,000 house. It's not going to be a $5,000 roof. It's a $750,000 house. It's going to be probably about a $20,000 roof, but it's not going to be a $200,000 roof unless you want slate. You want a 100-year roof? Get slate. Period. You want a 50-year roof? Get a good class 4. There's a few of them out there. You want a roof that's should get you 20 to 30 years on average, 18 to 25, I like to say on average is about the market around here. Get an IKO Dynasty. I expect to have this roof on my house for 20 years should I be here this long, minimum. Because number one, I maintenance it each year. And that's checking the caulking and the pipe boots. And the pipe boots don't really need much checking because I did lead pipe boots and we use screws with grommets to secure it, so there's no caulking there. I'm not worried about that. But on my counter flashings, there's caulking. I've had to touch it up, and I've only been here, 6 years. But I'm going to get 16 more out of it, unless a big storm comes. And we'll deal with that then. Just like you'll deal with us when you come back, because you're listening to Renovation Nation live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is. It's time to see in 3.
Hey, this is Chad with RTM Roofing and host of Renovation Nation. RTM Roofing's commercial division is looking for you. Are you a property manager? Do you own the building? Are you the business owner? You tired of leaks? You tired of chasing leaks? Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751 or go to rtmroofing.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, fill out the contact card, and let us help you out.
And you know what time it is. It's another Saturday. What time is it? It's Renovation Nation time. That's what time it is. Yes, we are back this week. We're back. You're not hearing about Skylights again or whatever they played last week. Nah, we're here. I hated to miss those couple weeks, but just things came up. Because I've been, for once, I've done a lot of shows this year. Try to do one every Saturday, of course, but every now and then life happens, and you get, sometimes it's actually pretty good repeating some of the shows, because I've noticed that when the same show repeats back to back, we get more calls. I guess the second time's always better. But regardless, if you want the second time, go to YouTube, search A Standard Conversation, or go to our website and search www.rtmroofing.com. And you'll see our YouTube videos there, and click on that and go to our YouTube page. And while you're there, scroll to the bottom of our web page. You ain't got to click anything. Just scroll to the bottom and fill out the contact card should you need our services. Or you can call 615-500-0751, 500-0751. Go ahead and book your fall inspection. If that's when it's due, go ahead and book it now. Get locked in. It's helped a lot of people out. We've had a lot of people go ahead and preemptively call and say, hey, we want ours in May. This was back in March and February when I started talking about this. You can pre-book inspections. You don't have to wait till you need it. Do it because you want it, not because you need it. Once you need it, there's usually an issue. There's usually an issue, and issues cost money. It's not always a roofing issue, though, and that's what I was talking about earlier. How does a newer roof leak? Well, what I was saying and squirreled on, I've got a strange thing of number crunching, that if you had a leak at your house and your roof was shot, and of course it's leaking in that area, and we can see other things that could be causing leaks there, nail pops, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And we do the roof, and then, next big rain, it leaks in the exact same spot. The odds of it being the roof, they're not 0, but they're 0.00 something, 0.001% that it's actually the roof leaking. It can be windows. It can be brick. Brick are like sponges. They can absorb water. Certain grouts done at certain times for certain years over the past 30 years, some absorb water more than others. There's things you can do about that, but it's not always your roof. But more than not, the usual culprit is, or it goes to your gutters, or from your siding, your soffit, your fascia, your chimney caps. I can't tell you how many chimney caps I see that are bolted or nailed or screwed from the top. Chimney cap's supposed to be secured from the side, because anything on top of it's going to break down, and that's a hole in your roof. I've seen a lot of that. A lot of chimney caps. If you got a lot of staining on your brick, especially your chimney bricks, and you don't have a steel cap up there, you probably have just what I call the lightweight concrete or a concrete cap up there. It cracks. Then it gets into your bricks. And then also on slow rains, it's just rolling over and running right down the side of your brick, which saturates your brick, starts causing all that organic growth, the black staining on it. And you're lucky if it doesn't go inward. You're lucky because it's actually maybe filtering out and coming out some weep holes down the bottom. But brick will soak up water. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'll never forget. I was in Where was that? Lebanon? Guess it'd be considered Lebanon. And was at a house, it had a bay window. Big wall, big, huge front-facing gable house. You know, it had a gable right there anyways, with a big, good-sized bay window, standing seam metal. Then brick that went up, you know, another 20 feet, but nevertheless, there was 2 windows way up there. You could spray water, and then when it would rain, especially blowing rains, and that wall get wet, they would have a stain inside underneath that standing seam bay window roof. A little flat, a little push out. Some of you got those. I could spray water on that standing seam and right above the flashing and the caulking right there and the whole thing for hours and it not leak a drop. As soon as I started spraying just the brick about 5 foot up above it and sprayed it for about 5 minutes, they started getting leaks. The brick was soaking it up. So we did a hydrostop or siloxane. I can't remember which one we did, but it's a water barrier like you would use for your aggregate driveway, your exposed driveways. Instead of the black concrete, you got the pea gravel look. You gotta put a clear coat on that of a water repellent. Well, you can do that with brick too. And that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Blew my mind because I was like, there's no way. I mean, the mortar looked good. The brick looked good. No cracks, no holes, no nothing, no anything. But yet when I sprayed it, it leaked. The wall, not the flashing, not the metal. So, inspections, got problems. Solve the problems, not the symptom. The symptoms aren't always the problem, especially in roofing. Now, sometimes, yes, the nail's backed out there, the flashing's pulled away, water's going in. That's true. But I've had more than one occasion of going out and there's a leak in the house that was being fed by, I call it 3 tributaries. I call them the usual suspects. You got nail pops, you got caulking, you got flashing, you got boots, and you got shingles. Well, until I rule one out, you're still in the lineup. Line you up against the wall like the movie Usual Suspects. Until I've got a good alibi for you and know you're not wasn't the lookout, the gunman, or the car driver or accomplice, you're staying here. And that's what we have to do sometimes on repairs is like, look, here's your best case scenario. It's just that one little spot right there that's feeding that, the pipe boot, the whatever, so be it. But when we open it up, water like a river, it has a memory. And when and on the frog killing rains, when it's overflowing, it just forks and goes another way too. And sometimes another hole or another culprit let water in and then they join forces and drop in the same hole. So you solve one, you come back and it's leaking again. Well, where's that at? And lo and behold, 15 foot up diagonal left, there's a nail hole, there's a nail pop, there's something allowing water in that finds its way 15.5 foot down diagonal right to it, or whatever way it would be, diagonal left to it, that goes in that hole. Bypassed is like Plinko, bypassed all the other spots and just dropped in right there. That's how you can have a leak on a newer roof. Or it's not always a simple thing, but typically it's windows, it's brick, windows are huge, especially on second floors. And when there's leaks coming in that's on the first floor, takes a lot for water to go through a floor, through the carpet, through the subfloor, to your sheetrock, and into the next room. So usually it's a lot of windows we see too that are problems. Go walk around, when you get a dry spell, today, tomorrow, this weekend, walk around your house, just the base, just the floor level, outside on the grass. Look at your windows. If you've got caulking around your windows, definitely look at your windows. If you've got wraps or don't have that, it's siding and stuff like that, then you still have window problems. But I'm talking about the caulk around your window. If you've got that, if you've got a brick home, you've definitely got it. You'll be surprised how many times you can pull your pocket knife. How many times you can pull your pocket knife out of your pocket and stick it right in the gap between your brick and your window. And if you're seeing your caulking on your windows look like that, and you've not had your roof inspected, your gutters inspected, I'll guarantee you the caulk on those is just as bad. Unless the roof's only a couple years old. 2, okay. 3, it's time for an oil change or at least a checkup. And one of these days, maybe they'll get the roofing system automated so it'll warn you like your car. Oil change. You know, that pops up on you, and you're like, I can get 5 more thousand miles. Or the app will tell you got 5% left. It's like, oh, okay, I can get another 10,000 miles. But yeah, that's pretty much property managers. We're looking for you. Call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751 for all your roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, chimney caps, skylights, and now home attic insulation needs. Blown-in insulation or batten. We don't do walls. We don't do windows. We'll tell you about them, though, when we see issues with them. Well, hope you enjoyed the day. Thanks for sticking around. Check us out on YouTube. Go to our website, rtmroofing.com. Scroll to the bottom, fill out our card. Comes right to us, and we come to you. No charge. It's complimentary to homeowners, not free. We're going to give it to you. We'll see you guys next week. Be safe. See you. Thanks for watching Renovation Nation. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button.